Hello, everyone, and welcome. We have a special guest today for this webinar for the AHC members from Beyond Blue. I'd like to welcome Mel Novak. Mel is a small business engagement advisor for Beyond Blue and has something to share with us today about an initiative that Beyond Blue have in place you may or may not be aware of for small business. Welcome, Mel.
Oh, hi, Fiona. It's so nice to be here. Thank you so much for having me on.
So tell us about this program. We've talked, you've shared a little bit with me. I'd love to share this further on with our members. What's the program about?
The program is called NewAccess for small business owners, which sounds like a really big mouthful. So we like to condense that to NASBO. So everybody calls it NASBO. The program has been running since 2021. Effectively, in a nutshell, what it is a mental health coaching program for small business owners. So you have to be a small business owner in order to take part. And in terms of what we consider to be a small business owner is really anybody with an ABN anywhere in Australia who has less than 20 staff, no matter what industry you work in, no matter what stage of business you're at. We even have some small business owners who are taking part who are not trading at the moment, and that's also absolutely fine. But effectively, what the program is, in a nutshell, is a mental health coaching program for small business owners. It's completely free, completely confidential, and is offered to any small business owner anywhere in Australia.
Amazing. And I love the fact that it's free. So if we could talk a little bit about accessibility, how do we access and go about joining this program?
Yeah, so probably one of the best ways to access the program is by going online. If you just search for New Access for Small Business Owners, you can even search for NASBO if you like, NASBO, and go through the link there, add your contact information, and somebody will get back to you, normally within 24 to 48 hours, to go through the intake process. And the intake process is really simple. It's about a 5-minute phone conversation where we just want to check you are a small business owner and that you have less than 20 staff. So we're really just checking your eligibility. And once your eligibility has been confirmed, you'll be booked in for your first coaching session. And that normally takes place anywhere between 5 to 10 days from the intake call. So it's very quick.
It's amazing. And what's the difference between something like this that you're providing with Beyond Blue and, for instance, an EAP system or process that some business owners have in place, or the difference between something like a GP mental health plan?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So the New Access for Small Business Owners program incorporates what we call cognitive behavioral therapy, or some of you may know that as CBT therapy, which incorporates a level of therapy that's based on looking at specific problems and working through those with your mental health coach, implementing skills, tools, strategies, and techniques. It's not talk therapy. And something we like to make clear is this is not the same as seeing a mental health practitioner. The coaches are coaches, they're mental health coaches. They've gone through specific training to become mental health coaches. And the interesting thing with the coaches as well is they're actually all either small business owners themselves, or they've worked within a small business. And that's something that's very important. When we developed the program, we did a lot of research. We asked small business owners, what sort of programs would you like to take part in? And the feedback we got was that small business owners are very time poor, and they're very pragmatic in their approach. They're often thinking, well, what's in it for me? What am I going to get out of this? And what we found was that they would like to engage with coaches who've got a background in small business because they've walked in their shoes. They know what it's like. They know what the challenges of running a small business are like. So if you take part in the program, you'll be liaising with a coach for your sessions. You get 6 free sessions, and in each of those sessions you'll have the same coach who's walked in your shoes. They know what it's like to run a small business. So it's not the same as having, say, a mental health care plan or going through an EAP program where you'll have a mental health practitioner supporting you. We like to say it's almost like the stepping stone. Some people are having to wait at the moment up to 18 months to get a booking with a mental health practitioner. So it's not the same as seeing a mental health practitioner. We really want to make that clear. But if you have been struggling, you haven't been feeling 100%, and you want to see someone quickly, this might be the stepping stone before you actually book in to see a professional.
That's fantastic. So the no wait, the free, and potentially at that stage when it's preventative more than too late. So, like you said, you're struggling, maybe overwhelmed. Business can be really tough at times. So, it's an opportunity to really reach out and have those conversations, like you said, with someone that's walked in their shoes and understands how they're feeling.
Yeah. And it's I love what you've just said then about it being preventative. At Beyond Blue, we're big believers in early intervention. The research
Mm,
shows that majority of people who reach out for mental health support have been struggling for 10 years.
mm,
Unfortunately, people do still delay getting help for lots of different reasons. But unfortunately, mental health does deteriorate if we don't seek help. And so for a lot of people, by the time they reach help, things can be a little bit more serious. This program is an early intervention program. It's actually aimed at people who are at that early end of the mental health spectrum. If we were to receive an inquiry from someone who is perhaps more progressed down the mental health spectrum and maybe even experiencing what we class as more severe mental health issues, such as perhaps psychosis, or they're at crisis stage, the program
mm,
isn't actually most appropriate for people at that stage. We would, of course, make sure those people get the appropriate care. We wouldn't leave them on their own. But the program is developed for people who are at that earlier end of the spectrum. I always
mm.
say if you haven't been feeling 100% for 2 weeks or more, this is the perfect program for you. And it just helps you get back on your feet, helps you get back to
Mhm.
feeling like yourself.
Great example there, Mel. Thank you. So just to finish up, I'd love to hear, is there some results or stats you can share with us?
Yeah,
Maybe
we're
some
seeing.
testimonials of experiences where you've dealt with someone, business owners, or maybe in our industry, where they've particularly had and seen some results.
Yeah, we're seeing amazing results. Like I said, the program's been running now since 2021. So we've got some great data. We've got some really amazing stats. But at the moment, we're seeing about 7 out of 10 small business owners who go through the program go through what we class as a clinical, they pass a clinical threshold for recovery. So what that means is they've actually clinically recovered. They've gone through a clinical recovery threshold for stress, anxiety, or depression, which is quite amazing when you think this is just 6 sessions over 6 weeks for people to see that level of improvement. We're seeing 93% of people either agreed or strongly agreed that after taking part in the program, they were better equipped to deal with business
Mm,
challenges and also better equipped to manage their mental health. And that's something that we hear a lot from participants who take part in the program. They'll say, you know what, the underlying issues are still there because unfortunately we can't stop stressful things from happening. As business owners, unfortunately, we don't know what is going to happen during our day or what's going to happen during the course of the week. But the program gives you skills, tools, or techniques that you can. I actually like to say it's like having a little kit bag on your back with all your mental health tools and levers that you can pull out. So when those stressful events do occur, which they will, unfortunately, we can't prevent that, you're just better equipped to deal with it. You've got the skills, you've got the tools, you've got the techniques in your kit bag that you can pull out and select the right one that's appropriate for what you might be going through.
that's incredible. Thank you so much for your time today, Mel, and thank you to Beyond Blue for everything that you do. We really appreciate it, and yeah, look forward to working with you. Thanks again for all your time.
It's
Thanks.
such a pleasure. Thanks for having me on.